Mom!
What?
Could you be quiet?
Oh, alright.
So I'm going to LA around December, and I'm trying to get into the film industry there. Now I have no idea how to actually get in the film industry, even though I really want to. Now I know two people that very well know how to get into the industry and that I'm really close to. So I've decided to interview them. Here it is.
Well, the first job that I had in the industry...
My first role in the industry was a PA, which is a production
assistant.
There are three kinds of PAs. There's an office PA, a set PA, on-set PA, and a runner. So I started as a runner, and so that's like in your car, going places, picking stuff up, anything from coffee to wardrobe to talent. And then I got, but I really wanted to be on set, so I kind of worked my way onto set and became a set PA.
The lifestyle of working in the film industry is one of a freelance worker, and when you work freelance you don't have a regular job, you kind of don't have job security. You're only sort of as good as your last job, so it's a little bit stressful in that you're not really sure when and if you're ever going to work again, so it's a little bit stressful. But the good thing is, depending on whether you're working on film or whether you're working in commercials and music videos, and I did a little of both, but I ended up doing a lot more commercials and music videos. The nice thing about the lifestyle there is just that you have a lot of downtime, so I had many days where I could just sleep all day and do lots of other things, and then you gear up and you do 2 or 3 days of work. And then you have another week off. So it was sort of like really intense work, and you're working all over the city, so you're never in the same place really too many days in a row.
Since 2004, it's changed pretty dramatically. First of all, there's almost no projects shot on film anymore. It's starting to actually make a comeback, proper, actually film, like celluloid strips that you put into a magazine and goes through a mechanical device, this precision mechanical instrument, like that picture of that Panavision back there, film cameras.
But now they have these little tiny cards and everything's recorded to that. So that's probably the biggest change in the industry. I think is that not a lot of movies are made in LA anymore, not exclusively. The industry has really changed. It's really international. A lot of stuff is filmed in New Zealand, but it's also filmed all over the United States and key areas, as well as other parts of the world.
So some useful skills and qualities for a worker in the moving image industry to have are the ability to actively listen, to show up every day that you're meant to show up on time at the right location.
To be intelligent and be able to think on your feet.
At the call time you actually should be ready to go, not pulling up and then you have your breakfast burrito and then you start. It's not like that. You'd actually be ready to go at call time. You
often have to be quiet and not, don't speak and don't be arrogant. It's very much sort of like a military ranking kind of situation. I don't know, I can't think of the term, but basically, the director's at the top, and then there's a director of photography, and it's just very much like a military, and you just have to know your place.
Calling back is acknowledging. Anytime anyone communicates something to you having to do with what you need to do, you repeat it back so that they know that you heard them and they know that you heard them correctly.
Where you start in the film industry, especially in New Zealand, they really want you to have some sort of training. The most common way is to intern and work for free to gain some skills and some understanding of how a set works.
One way to enter is through lighting, so you can be a lighting assistant. A general entry point is as a production assistant.
I don't think film school's necessary, but I think the best advice is that you should start as you mean to go. So if you want to be a director, then you should start directing something, because it's often takes a really long time to rise up in the ranks.
So my advice for someone working on their first film, get some good shoes. Because if you're on your feet and you're moving all day, and if you have bad shoes, it's like your life is miserable.
Jumping up and down like a kangaroo,
There are many things about working in the film industry that brought me joy. One thing that kind of stands out for some reason, I'm not sure why, was when I was a focus puller on this TV movie, a movie of the week, called Geppetto, starring Drew Carey as the lovable Italian toymaker who made Pinocchio. And it was like an old-fashioned musical. And so we were on a crane. Now, when they have crane shots, they're all on jib arms, which you don't ride them anymore. But in the old days, they used to sit. The camera operator and the assistant would sit on the crane, and they'd go way up and way down and swoop around. You've probably seen those photos and stuff of that.
I thought I was going to be fired for sure when I was working on the Backstreet Boys video, because I had gotten a phone call when I was in the darkroom, and I answered, and I was talking to Dan, who was coming in on the job as a second camera, and I got really excited that he was coming in, and then I turned on the light and I flashed the mag, and it was such a freaky thing to look. I mean, because I've never actually seen a full magazine out in light, because of course you keep it in the dark all the time. I've felt it before, I've never seen it. It was just the worst feeling. So I closed it up and I went running into my DP, and I'm like, I flashed the mag, it's gone, roll 5 is gone, you have to reshoot, and they were like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. I'm like, no, you've no idea. It was bathed in light, and I was sure I was gonna be fired. I was absolutely sure I was gonna be fired. And then they told me later, the DP told me, he said, no, I'm not gonna fire you. In fact, you've just secured your job, because I know now that you're never gonna lie to me. You're always gonna tell me when, shit happens, that you're gonna be honest about it.
So there are a lot of aspects of working in the motion picture industry that were really challenging. One of the most challenging was just dealing with the stress of the job, of particularly of focus pulling. Focus pulling is so stressful, and it's an almost impossible task to do. There are few people who can do it, just they have the gift of, they just turn it and they're in focus all the time. But the rest of us have to measure and guess where they are. Where is that actor, And it's just like, and if you measure them to here, but then they're going to there, but they're delivering that really powerful scene, you got to be in focus on their eye. So that was super stressful, and at the end of the day, sometimes that would just feel toxic, and so that was very challenging to me. And the most, on the other side, there was a lot that was rewarding. Much of it was rewarding about the job, but I would say the most rewarding thing about working in Los Angeles in the film industry was the money, because it was really good money. And I worked a lot, so I didn't have time to spend it. You make a given hourly rate, and when you go over 10 hours, you make time and a half, and you go over 12, you make double time. And we had several 20-hour days, 18-hour days, and everyone's just going, yeah, that's okay. We would always have to be asked by the assistant director, is it okay to go into overtime? We're like, yeah, it'll be all right. Yes, we'll do that. And then behind, we're always going, ka-ching. So that was very rewarding.
I think probably the most joyful things were those moments of just sheer beauty, like being outside when the sun was rising, or being in some amazing place that you just wouldn't normally get to because you're just in your daily routine. There was no daily routine when you worked there, because it was always something different, really. Those were probably the most joyful, because at the time I really enjoyed being outside and in nature, and so that was kind of cool.
One interesting thing is when you're pulling focus, you're turning this wheel, and the actor is moving like this, and you have to be right on them. And if it's like a big actor, because I've worked with a lot of actors, big name actors, expensive actors, and they don't want to go again for focus. They do what they do, and they expect it to be in focus. So if you miss it, you're out of there. So no pressure.
Okay, final thoughts. I guess mine is a relationship one, where if you have a partner, make sure they have an understanding of the nature of the business, because it's easy when you tell your partner you'll be home at 8, or you think you'll be home at 8 and you won't get home till 2 or 3 in the morning, or you try to plan a holiday and then work comes up and you have to cancel. These can be frustrating, but if your partner is understanding and has an understanding of what you do and the business, your relationship will last longer. And secondly, I think it's really important as you're working your way up to be nice to everyone and kind to everyone, because you never know who might end up being your boss down the line, and the people will remember that.
Right. Often a PA that you're looking for, a production assistant that's getting you coffee next job will be hiring you or firing you. Yeah, I would say be willing to give a day for free, or 2 days, or 3 days. And so you have to have a little bit of money, or you have to have your things sorted so that you can do that. Because that's when they see you, that's when they see the kind of person you are, the kind of worker you are, and what you're like to be with. Because that's really important. Many people can do the specific job tasks that are involved in any particular job, but not everyone is generous and humble and hardworking and meticulous, and those are the things you need to be. When you give those days for free, also don't think, oh, I'm just doing this for free, so I'm not going to work as hard.
Yeah.
You work just as hard as if you're getting $1 million an hour on every job. It's just like once you agree to do the job, sometimes you're asked, once you start getting paid, and you start getting paid higher, and then someone asks you to work for lower for whatever, if you take that job, you take it as if it's the highest paying job you ever took, because that's what people like, and that's what will get you the next call. So it's all about getting the next call. What's it going to take to get the next call?
It helps if you love your work.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, good luck, Julz.
Good luck with that. No, you'll be great.